Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Town of Lexington Council meeting this evening, being held at Town Hall, Monday evening, October 7, 2019. This meeting is being broadcast live and will be replayed several times over the next week on the town's cable information channel 1301 and will also be available for viewing on the town's website. I'm Steve McDougall, the mayor of the town of Lexington. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you my fellow council members. To my left is Mayor Pro Tem Hazel Livingston.
Good evening.
To her left is Council Member Todd Carnes.
Good evening.
To his left is Council Member Steve Baker.
Good evening.
To my right is Council Member Kathy Maness.
Good evening.
To her right is Council Member Ron Williams.
Good evening.
And to his right is Council Member Todd Lyle.
Good evening.
At this time, I would like to welcome Pastor Russell Thompson. If you would not mind, please come forward and offer invocation for tonight's meeting. Thank you for being with us.
Mr. Mayor, council members, distinguished administrators, ladies and gentlemen, shall we pray? Heavenly Father, I ask that you bless tonight's proceedings. I ask that you guide each council member and the mayor in their discussions and their decisions. May they bless the town of Lexington with the discourse this evening and honor you. And now I ask that you bless and protect us, smile upon us, be gracious to us, and also, Lord, I pray for peace and comfort this evening. For we ask it in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Russell, thank you. If you wouldn't mind, stand right there for us. If everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chaplain Thompson, thank you very much for what you do for our police department as well. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thanks for being with us. At this time, I will call the meeting to order. I'd like to report on our executive session this evening. This evening, we met in executive session. We discussed 3 legal issues, one issue regarding pending litigation, one issue was legal advice related to enforcement of a town ordinance, and one issue was advice regarding agenda items. We also had 3 contractual issues. One was a downtown economic development issue. We had 1 prospective construction contract, and we also had the amphitheater-related proposed contract. We had 2 personnel items, 1 boards and commissions appointment, and 1 routine personnel review. No vote was taken in executive session. Is there a motion to ratify this report?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Baker.
Second.
And a second by Mr. Lyle. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Thank you. Moving into the agenda, are there any deletions on tonight's agenda? Anyone have anything they'd like to take off the agenda for this evening? Hearing none, very good. We'll move right into presentations. Our first presentation this evening will be a proclamation read by Mayor Pro Tem Hazel Livingston. Ms. Bowers, if you would, please join us at the microphone. This is a proclamation for Gracie Bowers, Miss Teen, All-Star United States 2019. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an honor for me to be able to read this because Gracie serves on our Virginia Hilton Park Committee and gives us lots of ideas from the teenagers aspect
Wonderful.
of things.
Thank you very much.
A proclamation of the mayor and council for the town of Lexington, South Carolina, congratulating Gracie Bowers, Miss Teen, All-Star United States 2019. Whereas Gracie Bowers is a freshman at Lexington High School where she is a junior varsity cheerleader, and whereas Gracie is active in her community and serves as the teen representative on the committee working to make improvements in Virginia Hilton Park, and whereas her platform is called Kids, Kind Individuals Doing Service, which invites other students to join in a community service project at least once a month where they can become involved in projects such as making blankets for foster care, joining an autism walk, and collecting needed items for the Nancy K. Perry Children's Shelter. And whereas in August of 2019, Gracie competed in the National All-Star United States pageant in Savannah, Georgia, and was crowned Miss Teen All-Star United States. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the mayor and council for the town of Lexington that Gracie Bowers is hereby recognized and congratulated for being crowned Miss Teen All-Star United States 2019 and has expressed best wishes in all of her efforts as a representative of Lexington High School in Lexington, South Carolina, dated this 7th day of October 2019, Steve McDougal, Mayor. And we're going to let you tell us a little bit about your platform and how you do your kids' involvement.
Okay, yeah. KID stands for Kind Individuals Doing Service, and once a month we gather together and do community service at my house, or we come in the park and do it. Like a few weeks ago, we came in the park and we painted rocks, and we set them around the park so people could find them. And this upcoming week, we are going to do the Autism Walk, and I'm so excited for it.
Very good, Gracie. Thank you very much. If you don't mind, we'd like to take a few pictures with you and our beauty queen, one of our beauty queens. Gracie, thank you so much. Congratulations. Our next presentation this evening will be from Chief Terrence Green. If you would not mind, come forward. Thank you, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Tonight we want to recognize one of our National Night entertainers. As the town of Lexington continues to grow and new neighborhoods are developed, the Lexington Police Department has for a number of years organized National Night Out, an event to highlight the importance of community working with law enforcement. Attendance for this event grows each year, and over 800 residents came out on August 6, 2019 to Lexington Square Park. I'm proud to say that Lexington Police Department has been recognized for the past 2 years by the National Night Out organization with a national award for a community size of 15,000 to 50,000. The Lexington Police Department was one of 44 agencies in this category to receive the award, and we hope to gain again to be considered. A large part of the success of our National Night has been the involvement of local businesses and organizations along with the community who comes out each year to make this event great. This year, Anthony Sloan, known as the David Ruffin Experience, gave Corporal Mortensen a call and offered to put together a musical concert for the town of Lexington community. As planning continued, Anthony was able to include local artists Rosemarie Moore as Gladys Knight, country singer Presley Aaron, Cedric Dennis, a.k.a. Chris Style, King, Eddie Williams, a.k.a. Dr. E, and Stephen Youngblood, a.k.a. DJ MC Sly B, to round out the show. One obstacle in making this a real show was the need of finding a stage. And through a friendship, through you, Mayor, we appreciate you, had with Jeff Hunter, the stage was delivered on the day of the event free of charge. Without doubt, the David Ruffin Experience and Friend made this year's National Night Out event something special, and I would like to personally thank everyone who had a part in donating their time and talents to the community with this concert. Mayor, if you would mind coming down, we want to present them, just a token appreciation. This is what community is all about. I often say that law enforcement is the community, and the community is law enforcement. You see all this mess going on TV about us against them. We don't have that in Lexington, and we just want to highlight the positive, what goes on each day here in Lexington. So if I could, I'm going to call you guys' name up, and all at once we want to just give you a token appreciation. Any order, Cameron? I'm going to do the ladies first. Rosemarie Moore. Last night.
That's good.
Chief, thank you very much and great job. We wish you well in receiving that award too. You guys did a fantastic job putting that together. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. At this time, I will have a vision plan update for October. Yes, thank you very much, Gracie. Y'all have a good night. Thank y'all for being with us. This month marks 4 years since the historic floods of 2015, which impacted the lives of everyone here in the town of Lexington and across the Midlands. During the floods, the dam at Gibson Pond Park was destroyed, and our deep heck permit was recently approved, and we plan to begin construction late this year into early next year, which means we are finally able to put the pond back into Gibson Pond Park. Yes, Dan's patting his heart. He's happy for that. We are too. Ice House Amphitheater Entertainment Update. We have had a great set of weeks that we had at the Ice House Amphitheater and a great turnout at Lexington Live Concerts, and we've enjoyed each week. Southside Station will be taking the stage to wrap up our series of concerts on Friday, October 11th. Remember, we're moving our last event of the concert series from a Thursday to a Friday night. The event is a fundraiser for the Jeff Chavis House. Jeff was a Lexington County firefighter who died in the line of duty here in Lexington. We thank him for his bravery and his service and hope that you will join us and support that cause. Again, that is Friday, October 11th at 6:30. Then on Saturday, October 12th, the Ice House will host the Lexington Hops and Harvest Festival. Join us for the Craft Beer Festival and live music starting at 4 p.m. Tickets are on sale now. They are $40, and money raised will support the Virginia Hilton Park Beautification Foundation, which is working on a project to transform the park into a park of the 21st century. That is our most coveted park, and we would appreciate all of you coming out and enjoying that Hops and Harvest Festival on the 12th. Speaking of Virginia Hilton Park, a new Facebook page and website has been launched to showcase the master plan for the park. It includes an 8.25-acre expansion, which more than doubles the size and has several pocket parks, which are basically smaller parks within the larger park itself. The Pat Jeffcoat Serenity Park was the first project and was dedicated earlier this year. Town Council's goal is to improve healthy green spaces within the park while providing a safe, playful, and social and recreational space for all. Our vision plan goal each month, I announce some of the events going on and around Lexington. All these events are a result of the town's vision plan, which has been reviewed and updated in 2017. And again, this summer, we took a trip and sat down for 2 days and reviewed the vision plan and came up with a new set of plans for our very near future. We have stayed true to the guiding principles and goals of the vision plan, which includes to sustain Main Street and downtown as the heart of Lexington and sustain Lexington's sense of community, just to name a few. You can read the entire vision plan on the town's webpage. This council continues to work and look for ways every day to improve and preserve our community. We are always open to your ideas about your community. You can call me or any of our council members and staff and let us know if you think of something that will improve the quality of life for all of our citizens here in the town of Lexington. That is the vision plan update for October. At this time, we will have a traffic update from Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Construction is nearing completion on the new deceleration lane in front of Walmart and Chick-fil-A on 378 Sunset Boulevard. Vinyl striping is in and the new guardrail is expected later this week. Please use caution in and around this area. Further out on 378, work will soon begin on a deceleration lane associated with the new Hampton Inn near Frank's Car Wash. Please expect periodic lane shifts in this area. Work is underway to modify the driveway access on West Main Street for the new Autumn Woods Apartments next to the Kmart Shopping Center. Please use caution when entering and exiting this area. Finally, the town is installing a new drain system near Gibson Terrace and Rainwater Drive. The sidewalk will be closed the remainder of this week. The next traffic committee meeting will be held Wednesday, November the 13th at 8 a.m. on the third floor conference room of Town Hall. As always, if you're aware of a traffic signal issue, unsafe roadway situation, or a pothole that needs repair, please call 358-7273 and let us know.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. At this time, we will move into public hearings. Public hearings speakers are limited to 5 minutes. Our first public hearing for this evening is final reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 3524-01-004 located at 129 Ashley Trace. Anyone here wish to speak to that? Hearing none, moving on. Item number 2, final reading of an ordinance adopting the MASC Model Small Cell Wireless Ordinance. Anyone here wish to speak to that? Hearing none, moving on. Item number 3, final reading of an ordinance establishing a new telecommunications franchise agreement with Cellco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless. Anyone here wish to speak to that? Hearing none. Item number 4, final reading of an ordinance transferring a portion of Kaufman Farm Lane. Anyone here wish to speak to that? And finally, item number 5, final reading of an ordinance amending section 51-02-0 of the Town of Lexington Code of Ordinances Sewer System Pump Station Specification. Anyone here wish to speak to that? Hearing none, that concludes public hearings for this evening. We'll move right into old business. Our first item of old business from Councilmember Kathy Maness. Final reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 3524-01-004 located at 129 Ashley Trace. Councilmember Kathy Maness.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Sean Shin and Shinji Zhou recently purchased 14.47 acres located at 129 Ashley Trace Drive and have petitioned to annex the property. A single-family home is located on the site. Properties in town near this one are zoned general commercial, and Ashley Trace Drive is not currently classified. The Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their August meeting and recommended protective residential zoning for the property and an RL2 road classification for Ashley Trace Drive. I make a motion for final reading approval.
Ms. Manus makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Williams seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of old business is from Councilmember Todd Carnes, final reading of an ordinance adopting the MASC Model Small Cell Wireless Ordinance. Councilmember Carnes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Municipal Association of South Carolina is recommending municipalities adopt the attached Model Small Cell Wireless Ordinance. Small cell requests are becoming quite common across the state. The adoption of the ordinance would allow the town to treat all future requests in the same manner. The town currently has no ordinance dealing with this topic. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion for final reading approval of this ordinance adopting the MASC Model Small Cell Wireless Ordinance.
Councilmember Carnes makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Baker seconds that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of old business is from Councilmember Ron Williams, final reading of an ordinance establishing a new telecommunications franchise agreement with Cellco Partnership, doing business as Verizon Wireless. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Cellco Partnership, DBA Verizon Wireless, provides small cell projects designed to boost mobile phone coverage in populated areas. Small cells are boosters that are usually about 3 feet tall and are placed on existing utility poles where possible. Since the equipment will be placed in the public right-of-way, South Carolina law allows municipalities to enact a franchise agreement. The franchise agreement being requested is consistent with other agreements for this type of equipment adopted by the town. Make a motion for final reading approval.
Mr. Williams makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Carnes seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of old business is from Councilmember Steve Baker, final reading of an ordinance transferring a portion of Kaufman Farm Lane. Councilmember Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Mr. Frank Chapman developed many of the commercial properties around Kaufman Farm Lane. When Kaufman Farm Lane was dedicated to the town as a public road, it included property in excess of the standard 50-foot right-of-way. The Success property is where the Cherokee Bend sign was permitted by the SCDOT before it was dedicated as a public road. The sign was recently destroyed by a car accident. The sign must be on private property if it is to be replaced. Mr. Chapman has requested the town transfer a portion of the right-of-way back to him. The area that would be transferred is shown on the attached drawing. I make a motion for final reading approval of an ordinance transferring approximately 0.099 acres, a portion of Kaufman Farm Lane, to the adjacent property owner.
Councilmember Baker makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Ms. Manus seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Those opposed? That is unanimous. Thank you. Our next item of old business is from Councilmember Todd Lyle, final reading of an ordinance amending Section 51.02.0 of the Town of Lexington Code of Ordinances Sewer System Pump Station Specifications. Councilmember Lyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Town of Lexington sewer system pump station specifications have been updated and changes need to be reflected in the Town of Lexington Code of Ordinance. The new specifications necessitate the amendment of subsection D and E of section 51.02.02. Subsection D and E are to be deleted and reference will be made to the town policy manual for enforcement in the future. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion for final reading of an ordinance amending section 51.02.02 of the Town of Lexington Code of Ordinances sewer system pump station specifications.
Very good. Mr. Lyle makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Williams seconds that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. At this time, we will move into new business. Our first item of new business is from Mayor Pro Tem Hazel Livingston, first reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 4300-04-183, located in the 500 block of Old Cherokee Road. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A&T Custom Builders and Remodeling LLC on 1.43 acres located in the 500 block of Old Cherokee Road and have petitioned to annex the property. The property is undeveloped. Properties in town near this one are zoned Protective Residential 2 and Limited Commercial. Old Cherokee Road is classified as a collector. The Planning Commission reviewed this annexation during their September meeting and recommended limited commercial zoning for the property and collector road classification for Old Cherokee Road. I make a motion for first reading of approval.
Mayor Pro Tem makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Ms. Manis seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Kathy Manis. First reading of an ordinance annexing Lexington County Tax Map number 5311-01-131, located at 324 Aza Rose Lane. Councilmember Manis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. The Tran family own a parcel located at 324 Asia Rose Lane, and have petitioned to annex the property. A single-family home is located on the site. Properties in town near this one are zoned Protected Residential 2. Asia Rose Lane is currently not classified, and River Falls Lane is classified as an RL4 road. The Planning Commission will review this annexation during their October meeting to recommend the zoning and road classification for this parcel. I make a motion for first reading approval.
Councilmember Manis makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Carnes seconds that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Todd Carnes. First reading of an ordinance for lease of parking spaces on town property. Councilmember Todd Carnes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Town Council is asked to grant authority to Town Administrator Britt Poole to enter into a lease with the proposed Main Street Hotel for parking spaces on town-owned property near the hotel. Pursuant to the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act, the details will be released once a contract is signed. I make a motion for first reading approval of an ordinance for lease of parking spaces on town property and title only.
Councilmember Carnes makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Baker seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Ron Williams, Resolution Old Cherokee Road and Sunset Boulevard Improvement Project Reimbursement. Councilmember Ron Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Old Cherokee Road and Sunset Boulevard Improvements Project is anticipated to be ready for bid in 2020. In order to have maximum flexibility in financial initial construction costs, IRS regulations allow bond issuers to adopt a reimbursement resolution in order to recruit costs for capital expenditures incurred prior to the issuance of bonds or bond anticipation notes. Accordingly, the town should have a resolution in place for the project. The town's bond council drafted the appropriate resolution as a first step in the overall financial plans for the Old Cherokee Road and Sunset Boulevard Improvements Project. Action requested is for approval of the reimbursement resolution for the Old Cherokee Road and Sunset Boulevard Improvements Project. I'll make a motion.
Mr. Williams makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Lyle seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Steve Baker, Resolution Ice House Amphitheater and Pavilion Expansion Reimbursement. Councilmember Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. The Ice House Amphitheater and Pavilion Expansion Project is expected to be ready for bid in early 2020. In order to have maximum flexibility in financing initial construction costs, IRS regulations allow bond issuers to adopt a reimbursement resolution in order to recoup costs for capital expenditures incurred prior to the issuance of bonds or bond anticipation notes or bands. Accordingly, the town should have a resolution in place for the project. The town's bond council drafted the appropriate resolution as a first step in the overall financing plans for the Ice House Amphitheater and Pavilion expansion project. I'll make a motion for approval of the reimbursement resolution for the Ice House Amphitheater and Pavilion expansion project.
Mr. Baker makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Carnes seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Todd Lyle, resolution authorizing water and sewer revenue bond anticipation notes. Councilmember Lyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The town's water and sewer system capital improvements plan for fiscal year 2020 totals approximately $13.2 million. Additionally, the cost of the I-20 system may require interim financing. Currently, the town's Series 2018 $7 million WNS ban are outstanding and are due on November 1, 2019. Accordingly, the financing plan requires a resolution to authorize the issuance of water and sewer revenue bans, which in total will not exceed $19.5 million. Bans will provide interim financing for capital projects, including the Cromer Road Pump Station and the resolution of the I-20 system acquisition. Permanent bond financing is anticipated in fiscal year 2021 upon completion of the projects. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion for approval of a resolution to authorize water and sewer revenue bond anticipation notes.
Councilmember Lyle makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Williams seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Mayor Pro Tem Hazel Livingston, resolution providing an extension to the Planning Commission to make recommendations for a town development impact fee. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Town Council adopted a resolution directing the Planning Commission to provide recommendations on the required documents needed to adopt a development impact fee in March of 2019. The resolution requested the commission to complete this work within 180 days. Most of the work has been completed, but a slight extension is needed to finalize the documents and submitted them to Town Council. To grant the extension, a new resolution needs to be adopted. I make a motion for adoption of this resolution.
Mayor Pro Tem makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Baker seconds that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Kathy Maness, Sertoma Big Thursday sponsorship request. Ms. Maness.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Lexington Sertoma requested support for the annual Big Thursday event being held on October 24th, 2019. At the September 16th work session, council discussed a $500 field goal sponsorship. I make a motion for council consideration.
Ms. Maness makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Carnes seconds the motion. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Mr. Baker.
The Sertoma Club is the organization that provided the pavilion at the dog park, correct?
Yes, sir. That was a $14,000 check, as I remember correctly, Dan? Yes.
Excellent. That's been a very nice addition out there. I've been underneath it several times, including this last weekend, and I'm grateful that it's there. It provides a nice place to get out of the sun.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Todd Carnes, yard debris bag distribution policy. Councilmember Carnes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At the September 16th, 2019 work session, council discussed discontinuing the distribution of yard debris bags. The town provides yard debris bags to town residents free of charge at the finance department payment windows. Residents are permitted 5 bags per day per address. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion for council approval of a modified yard debris bags distribution policy.
Mr. Carnes makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Lyle seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Mr. Poole, you look like you have a question.
Yes, sir. We'll need a little direction on this. So when Specifically, I assume that the modification is the removal of the policy, but that's my assumption and may not be correct. And second, when that would go into effect, would it be an immediate thing, or you want?
I would.
Time period?
I would think it would be an immediate thing, but I would like to ask that we continue to provide those to people that show up and don't know about the policy change. Maybe make a list of those people that we're giving to and alerting of the new policy change so that we just don't have a start-stop date and that we gradually move into that new policy.
Can you tell me, the 4655, is that just the bags we're giving away, or does that include some of the parks bags also? And about how much is that? About 50/50? So this is not, okay. And then the other thing is, Mayor, is there any way, if this is approved, y'all could maybe put it in the town topics and do it at the end of the year, and that way, at least it gives people notification instead of doing it that way?
I think that we probably have enough on hand to get us through the end of the year, and if not, we could purchase a few to make that happen if you wanted to do it that way, and we certainly could. You haven't done town topics for December yet, right? Okay, so we definitely could make it into December's town topics.
Very good. If everybody's okay with that? Yeah, I'd like it to be a gradual modification and not just stop-start.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir, Mr. Law.
Just to clarify, this policy is going to be changed. We're going to let y'all work it through, but the goal is the next fiscal year's budget will only buy bags for parks and not for people to come pick up.
Yes, sir, that's my understanding, but the policy would go into effect halfway through this fiscal year.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I could modify my motion if necessary.
Yes, sir. Mr. Carnes, please.
I make a motion that we discontinue the distribution of these bags as of December 31st, 2019, and change the policy accordingly.
I'll second that.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Ron Williams, Boards and Commissions application. Mr. Williams.
Mr. Ronald Fisher submitted a Boards and Commissions application and indicated an interest in serving on the Board of Zoning Appeals, which has 3 vacancies. Mr. Fisher is a town resident, is employed as a land surveyor. A copy of his application is attached. I'd like to make a motion for appointment to the committee.
Mr. Williams makes a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
Ms. Manus seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Yes, sir. Mr. Baker.
I was just going to take the opportunity to point out, as I have done often, that we have many vacancies on our boards and commissions, and we would like some more community involvement and for folks to apply to those.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Madam Clerk, is there something we need to go backwards and
Yes, sir. I didn't get the vote on item number 9.
item number 9?
I called it unanimous, and I wasn't sure it was unanimous.
It was, yes, ma'am.
It was unanimous. Okay, sorry, I just didn't see it.
No problem. Thank you. Our next item of new business is from Councilmember Todd Lyle, Capital Project Sales Tax Commission appointment. Councilmember Todd Lyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The county is creating a capital projects sales tax commission, and it's advising the town of Lexington that it may appoint 1 member to this commission. According to state law, the commission must be composed of 6 members. 3 of those members are selected by the county and 3 by the municipalities. Those selected by the municipalities must be residents of an incorporated municipality in Lexington County. The commission will be charged with compiling a project proposal for a countywide referendum on the tax. The proposal must be for specifically identified projects intended to be funded by a potential 1-cent capital project sales tax. The proposal must also identify an ending date for the collection of the tax, which can be collected no longer than 8 years pursuant to state law. All potential projects must be identified in the proposal before it can go to the referendum. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion for this council to appoint a member to the Capital Projects Sales Tax Commission.
Councilmember Lyle makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Carnes seconds that motion. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Sammy Hendricks to fill that position.
Very good. Mr. Williams nominates Sammy Hendricks. Anyone else?
I'd like to second that for Mr. Hendricks if this is the appropriate time.
Mr. Williams made the motion. You can second that motion. There is a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. Tell Mr. Hendricks, thank you. Next, we will hear announcements from Councilmember Steve Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Our deepest sympathies go out to several families tonight. The family of Bill Banning, a former Lexington County Council member who passed away last week. Mr. Banning started his public service career in 1995 and did a lot to facilitate growth in Lexington County. The family of Lieutenant William Billy Aiken, a member of the Lexington County Sheriff's Department since 2001, passed away last week. He most recently served as lieutenant over special operations. The family of fire engineer Paul Quattlebaum, who was fatally struck by a semi-truck while responding to a vehicle collision Friday afternoon. Paul had been a full-time firefighter with the Lexington Fire Department since 2000, and before that he was a volunteer firefighter. Governor Henry McMaster ordered flags to be lowered to half-staff tomorrow to celebrate the life of fire engineer Paul Quattlebaum. Please say a prayer for the families of these three great heroes. The mayor mentioned several upcoming events for the Ice House Amphitheater. I encourage everyone to come out and show their support for the Lexington Fire Department this Friday. Southside Station will perform, and the event is a fundraiser for the Jeff Chavis House, another firefighter who lost his life in the line of duty. Don't forget to go online for tickets to the town's Hops and Harvest Craft Beer Festival with live music this Saturday. Tickets are $40. And live from Nashville on October 17th, I don't know how to say this guy's last name, Will Hogue will perform in concert. Tickets are $12 in advance. Both will be great events. The Planning Commission will meet on October 16th at 8 a.m. for their regular meeting here in the council chambers. Council will meet again on October 21st at 6 p.m. for council's October work session in the Eli Mack Room. There are a couple of events hosted by Lexington County Recreation and Aging Commission that will take place in the town's Virginia Hilton Park. October 18th at 6:30 p.m., Trick or Treat Trail. Tickets for that are $3. October 19th from 7 to 9, So the Story Goes, is a free event at the small amphitheater in Virginia Hilton Park. Our very own Lexington Police Department will host their annual Fall Festival on Tuesday, October 22nd from 5:30 to 8:30 here at Town Hall. This is an annual favorite for kids. I've been the last few years also, and it is a good time. Happy Halloween on Thursday, October 31st. Also, that morning, you can join Mayor Steve McDougall when he will host the Lexington County Blowfish Annual Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. Go to the Blowfish webpage to purchase $10 tickets. The speaker this year is former Major League pitcher Jonathan Johnson, who will talk about his baseball ministry called Honoring the Father Ministries, which has helped over 1 million people in 8 countries. Jonathan recently accepted the head baseball coach position at Columbia International University. Also, a happy birthday before we meet again on November 4th. Councilmember Todd Lyle celebrates his birthday on November 2, so happy early birthday, Todd. And please do not forget the Veterans Parade on Sunday, November 3rd at 3 p.m. Come out and line the streets in support of our veterans. And the last thing, this is not on my list, for anyone that prays, feel free to pray for my wife. She's going through a very tough time with pregnancy, and it's been kind of a difficult season for my family, so we covet your prayers. And thank you for watching your town council in action tonight.
Very good, Mr. Baker. Thank you very much, and definitely in our prayers. Are there any other announcements from any member of council? Anyone else have anything they'd like to add? Very good. We have no news media here this evening or public. Anyone here like to say any comments? Very good. That concludes our business for this evening. Thank you for watching the town council meeting for the town of Lexington. This meeting was held at Town Hall on Monday evening, October 7, 2019. A recording of this meeting will be aired on the town's information cable channel 1301 several times during this week, and a video will be available on the town's website at lexsc.com. Without objection, we are adjourned.